The first time I spoke to Tom and Leah, they were desperate. They had just finished a project a few months back, but they had zero inquiries on the horizon. They were frustrated with the industry, even thinking about shutting down their architecture firm, especially because they had just had a baby, and going back to a 9 to 5 job. When I got off the phone with Leah on Tuesday, around 4 months of working together, she had a completely different energy. In the past few weeks, they've received 20 project inquiries and sent out 6 proposals. And that was only a week after launching their new website and optimizing their Google Business profile. But really, it's not just about the website or Google Business profile, it's the shift in mindset and how you show up at networking events, on sales calls, and with referrals. You start charging higher prices because you have enough leads. You pick the projects that you really, really love, but also you have free time to work on the business side and enjoy the design process. And that's exactly what we do at Market Your Architecture, to help our clients not just with digital marketing, but also with the positioning, the confidence, sales, and accountability so you can grow your business. Now, once our clients start getting more projects, they want to get more organized. That's why we've started this coaching call series where we focus on specific topics and sometimes invite guest experts. That's why we brought in Lexi from Programa today, who actually shares our mission of helping architects and designers focus on what they love most, designing, instead of getting lost in admin and project management. She's going to walk you through how to get more done in less time so you can focus on the creative side of your business. So let's get started.
We're going to be going through how to just be more efficient in your day-to-day life within the design process. I'm going to do a little bit of introduction on myself and why I'm relevant to this conversation, you could say. And so I am an interior designer myself, previously ran my own small design firm, as well as subcontracted out to other design studios and working primarily in high-end residential and hospitality projects. And my current day-to-day now is I am the senior account manager for North America for Programa. So if you are not familiar with Programa, we are a software that was created by and for interior designers and architects, essentially to streamline your workflow process. So anywhere from project management, specification, concepting, and client communications, contractor communications, procurement, and invoicing. So a little bit of everything in terms of managing your projects. And I know that from personal experience and literally my day-to-day and speaking to hundreds of designers throughout the year, all over the world, whether that's, I primarily work with designers and architects in the US, but Canada, Mexico, the UK, Australia, New Zealand. It's really interesting the feedback that I've received by talking to all these designers that we all kind of face similar struggles, which is where kind of the brainchild of Programa came from, was that in terms of, I don't think you really understand how much detail and effort goes into the back end of a design project until you truly work in it. And I think there's kind of misconception within the industry, or I guess outside of the industry, of people looking in and not understanding how much work we do on a day-to-day. Yeah. I think that the design and creativity, that's obviously why we get into the industry. And that's why, well, I mean, me personally, that's what I'm passionate about, the actual design process. But there's so much back end of it. And kind of balancing all of these roles and wearing all these hats, whether it's marketing your business, where it's like Ladina and her company comes in, or it's admin and specifying, or you're doing your technical drawing sets. And so there's all these different components. And what I found my, I guess, expertise is working closely with other designers and architects, understanding your business, your firm, whether you're a solo designer who is just starting out and you're kind of trying to figure out what your design process is going to be. Choosing what softwares are going to work best for you, or whether you've been in the industry for 15, 20 years, you kind of are set in your process and your ways of doing things. Maybe you know there's more efficient ways out there that you could be doing things. But it's kind of implementing and taking that step of, okay, what's next? I know there's technology advancements out there. How do I actually integrate that into my business? And I know that can be daunting sometimes, and there's obviously a little bit of a learning curve when you are implementing new technologies, but that's why we're here to help. And from my understanding, it seems on average, people are using about 5 or 6 different softwares to run one project, which is just absurd. And essentially Programa is capable of ideally dwindling you down to about 3. So we're always going to need some kind of CAD software, whether that's SketchUp, Revit, AutoCAD, and we need some kind of project management components. We need something for specification, whether that's on Google Sheets, Excel, or another interior design architecture software where you're doing everything online. Time tracking, billing, invoicing, and accounting. The list goes on. Something for presentations, whether it's Canva, Google Slides, Adobe, InDesign. That seems to be the main thing that people come to me and they're stressed. They have multiple projects that they're trying to run, and they just know that they're trying to get out of using so many different platforms. So that's kind of where we come in, and that's what we're going to go over today. So the premise behind Programa is to reduce your admin tasks, have fewer errors in your specifications. So it's reducing any manual data entry and helping you just become quicker and more efficient, ideally giving you back more time to design and ideally being able to take on more projects, therefore earning more money, which is what we want, right? And just centralizing everything into one place. Now, I mean, at the end of the day too, I'm going to show you some efficiencies and what's helped my workflow process, but you always have to kind of figure out and decide what's going to be the best process for you. And this is just learning some new tools. So, as I mentioned, Programa is by and for interior designers. It's an online software program. So it's a web-based app, meaning that everything is on a cloud-based server and is created to have everything aesthetically presented in a really clean format and just intuitive to use. Because like I said, you spend so many hours kind of choosing your specifications and putting everything together for the project. So when you're actually presenting that to the client, it needs to reflect the amount of hours that you put into all of that work. And this is just a clean and easy way to conduct that. So usually, typically in the concept phase of the project, we're working in something like Pinterest. We're putting together all of our concept ideas, throwing together maybe the initial look and feel of the project, and then we're moving into some kind of mood boarding or presentation tool, whether that's on Canva, whether that's Google Slides, InDesign, like I mentioned. What we have in here, so you have all of your projects easily laid out, and you can set up different pinboard tools. So it's essentially taking those ideas and implementing them into a really clean, laid out presentation, whether that's concept images, details within the projects, floor plans, materials, finishes, etc. If you do love using Pinterest, like I do, you can easily take those links and input them in a click of a button into the software, which then auto-populates all of your pictures. So you could just pick and choose the images to add in to your presentation. Again, in a couple seconds, and you drag and drop these around in a really efficient manner. Just saving you from having to template things. Again, it depends on I typically use this in terms of the concept, the initial meeting of before, once you've got your new client, you're kind of like, okay, what's the scheme of the project going to be? You could throw together it's just nice to have this as a reference point too, to refer back to. And you can share this with your clients. So it actually creates a mini website for your presentation, which is all updated in real time. So if you do make changes, you don't have to reshare that link with your clients. They can just click onto it, or even just use it internally within your team and throw together some ideas so you can all work collaboratively on it that way. That would be step one. Now, when you're setting up your projects too, you can choose whether it's residential, commercial, hospitality. I definitely recommend setting up some kind of time frame for your project. So within the project management components, you can select a start and end date of the project, and then you have your different phases of the project within that overall time frame. So whether you're choosing, okay, I'm going to do concept design for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to do design development for a month, or schematic design, and kind of break it all up. So then you can assign tasks for yourself within each of those phases to just keep you on track and make sure that you are getting the most out of all of your design fees that you're charging, whether you're charging per phase or billing hourly that way. And so setting up your time frame, currency, measurements, and tax preferences, all at project level. And if you are working with a team, you can easily collaborate within here. Now, once we've gone through the concept phase, whether that's, like I said, using pin boards, or you've done your initial presentation and now we're moving more into your selection process. So whether you are happy with your Excel sheets or Google Sheets, there's obviously advantages to this in the sense that you can truly create the spreadsheet however you wish, and adding in images, descriptions, quantities, measurements, finishes, etc. And obviously it's going to be a bit more admin heavy in the beginning, where you're having to input all of these images and manually type everything into these boxes. I have certainly spent my days in Excel. It's not my favorite tool. But it does the job. And I think sometimes the customization components are super handy. But just make sure that you're capturing all of that information, images, where the location of the products are going, coding, etc. Now, looking at that Excel document in comparison to Programa itself, just going to check the chat here. Will your clients need a Programa account or no? So I'll go into the client dashboard side of things in a second, and I'll show you how everything links together. But no, your clients don't need an account. It's all done through email. So they literally just have to click the links. They don't even have to make a password. It's super easy. Can clients post their own ideas? It's read-only in terms of presentations. On the schedules, I'll show you how it is more collaborative, where they can actually leave you feedback on things. Yes, Joseph, thank you for answering my question. It is just an external link, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to show you what the schedules actually look like. So again, these are all customizable in a sense. So you can set up the types of things that you're specifying, whether it's hard finishes, plumbing fittings, and furniture, lighting, etc. Doors, windows, it's kind of up to you. Or if you like to specify by room, you can do it that way. I typically do mine by product type. So what I'll usually do is get the floor plans of my projects, or if I have an old Excel document of specification sheets, kind of taking those tabs along, if you had tabs along the bottom of your Excel documents, that's what I would use as the subcategories in your schedules on Programa. So your overall specification schedule title, and then your subsections within it. For example, so you have wall finishes, or like I said, you can do this by room. All pretty intuitive, you just type in the boxes. Now we template it to a certain extent for you. So instead of having to customize all of those separate columns within an Excel or Google Sheet, we've essentially templated the specification line items just through doing research, speaking with lots of interior designers and architects, and from personal experience of the typical items that would go into a typical specification sheet. And there's also spaces to input custom spec notes, whether like the little nitty-gritty things like your grout colors or different edge profiles, things like that, you can all customize. So once you have the overall summary view, which is all of your spec data, so measurements, finishes, colors, you've kind of laid out how you want to set up your spec sheets. So whether that's by room here, or you've done it by product type, then you can move into actually inputting products into the schedule. So we have something called a web clipping tool. So this is a Google Chrome extension, and it works on essentially every website out there. So whether you're logged into your trade portals or you're just on, say, Casson is my example. How this works is you open it up by clicking the logo, and then you have the ability to specify into a specific project, into a product library, or if you're doing presentations, then you can create a pinboard. So simply this works by just right-clicking on the image, or you can always use the screenshot tool. So again, already quick and easy. You're not having to right-click, save it to your desktop, re-upload it in. It's literally I right-clicked, pulled it in for me. Now the information, I don't have to type anything. I'm just highlighting and clicking. So I just clicked product name, the brand, the price, the finish. So it's very detailed. It's all listed out here on the right. Again, you can type into the box in theory if you need to. Essentially, I'll just scroll through the websites, add in any measurements, etc. My favorite kind of nerdy thing is that it'll pull your product attachments. So those extra warranty guides, installation sheets that we have to keep track of. I literally just pulled the PDF, so it'll attach it all in a nice little bow for you. So you're not having to download them, save them, keep them in a separate folder in a Dropbox or Google Sheet area, where then you're having to remember all the sheets that you pass along to the contractors. It's all in one spot. So now once you're happy with that information, you just go clip, select your project, and select that schedule that you've already set up. Voila, it goes green and you're good to go. That's super handy. So this is, again, trying to make you more efficient, right? So once you've kind of set up your schedules and you've specified a bunch of things into here, you can always reuse them. So you can create templates for yourself. So you can set up a schedule how you like it, duplicate it, reuse it again, reuse some of the materials that you've used, or plumbing fittings. You can save them into the product library for later, or literally duplicate an entire schedule and just edit, remove, delete what you don't want to use just by simply clicking add to product library. And again, they work interchangeably. You can pull products in from your library once they're already specified into there. Files, paints, my typing is terrible, etc. And this would already have all of the finishes, and specs associated to it. So I don't even have to redo it. Obviously, they become their own separate entities too once they're in the product library. So if you are using them in multiple projects, they become separate components. So you can edit them. It's not going to affect what's already in the library. So this is, again, keeping everything in one place. So you have your summary view. And then if you'll notice, we have a bunch of different tabs here at the top. I'm just going to go into a furniture schedule, for example. So you have summary and then financials. So the financial view, again, is saving you from having to create separate formulas and within your schedule, say manually in an Excel, where it's figuring out all the numbers for you. This is more of a plug and play situation where we've done the math for you in the back end. And all you really need to do is input your retail price off of the website or the trade price, and then add in your discount. So say the retail price is $1,000, I'd add a 20% trade discount. Then I can either pass along a client savings, whether I give them 10% of my savings, then I'm technically marking it up 12%, my profit's $100. Or it works vice versa. If I want to make a $200 profit, it'll work backwards, figure out that my client price is now $1,000. So that's, your profits are all calculated for you in green, easy peasy, figures it out, costing per section, as well as overall client price versus the retail price versus your trade pricing, and the amount of profits that you're making, all in a nice clean totals at the top here. So once you're happy there, just going to check the chats again. Do you use Programa to collaborate with contractors or just with the team and clients? You most definitely can use this to collaborate with contractors too, for sure. How do you turn this into a bill? We're going to go, I'm going to show you how to utilize the client sharing next and how to share it with the contractors. And then we'll go more into how to generate invoices and things like that. So the next step. Okay, so basically we're in the, let's pretend we're in the initial phase. You've chosen a couple options. Now you want to get some feedback from your clients and say, okay, what chairs do you like the best? So you can do option 1, option 2, option 3. And you'll notice that they all have statuses here. So these are statuses to keep you on track internally throughout the whole process, whether you're in the specification aspect or you're further down the line and you're in a procurement phase now. In this instance, we want it under client review. Then I'm going to head to the top and we're going to go share. You have 2 options here. So publish to web is what I typically use for sharing to contractors or tradespeople. So that's going to give them a link for that just one individual schedule. So whether it's the material schedule, my lighting schedule, I can share to the electrician just by copying and pasting this live link, which looks like this. So you can have it in a summary view or this grid mode. It'll tell them when it was last updated, and then you can always add flags and notes onto products if you have respecified things. And just because it is updated in real time, it's just keeping everybody on track. Okay, I actually have respecified or I have changed something. Just saving you from having to export hard copies every time you make one change, which, can be a pain in the butt when you're 6 months down the line and your tiles aren't in stock and you have to respecify one line item, and then we're exporting another document, sending it off when we just have 100 million revisions. This is saving you from that. That being said, you can always export hard copies to PDF and Excel if you need them, and which do export out quite beautifully too, nice and clean in a line by line format. You can export individual product sheets too, so it templates it all nice for you. So it takes all of your information, the custom notes and everything, wraps it into a nice little bow here. And this guy, we're all familiar with QR codes these days. You can actually export QR codes for each individual schedule. So you can print these out, put them on site. A lot of designers will laminate them, stick them up onto the studs, and then whoever comes along can always scan this QR code, which takes them to that live version of the schedules, which is fantastic. Everything, again, all in one place. Now, back to the share button. That's publishing it to web. The other option is publishing to what we call the client dashboard. So this is a client portal, which is going to house everything in one place. All you need to do is add in your client's email address. And then you have all these toggles here. So you can actually choose who gets approval. You have control over what they're seeing. If you want to turn pricing off, you can. It does just show them the client pricing. So don't worry if it is turned on, it will just be their price anyways. And then what you can create is something like this. So it's a beautiful, clean layout of your client-facing portal. So it'll have your logo, your cover images on tier. You can share as many specification sheets as you like. It'll have pinboards, so those presentations I showed you in the beginning. Presentation links is actually our embedded feature with Canva, which I can show you at the end if you like. There's a space for shared files, so just any external documents to Programa, whether it's your technical drawing sets, contracts, invoices, etc. You can upload anything into here. And then if you go as far as invoicing through the platform, then you can share their invoices here too. So again, all in one spot. Now, in terms of proposals and putting forth products to gain approvals, we're using that client review status. You'll see that it says feedback required onto the spec sheet. So again, they can view it in summary view. They'll have a financial view as well as approval and feedback tab. So this is kind of acting as your online proposal. So you don't have to generate a full other document for that. And it'll give them a total summary. And then each individual unit price of everything, they can take a look. They can approve what they like, reject what they don't like, and leave you comments and feedback here. So it does give them a little bit of a disclaimer. And you are approving this, you acknowledge that you've reviewed everything, etc. And this filters back into your live schedule. So it'll all be date stamped, time stamped with the client's name. So you have that version history of everything linked together. Okay, so that is client portal. One of my favorite features for sure. So like I said, sharing live versions of everything, really easy to set up, intuitive for you and the clients, exporting hard copies if you need them, again, everything done from one place. Then if you are a firm or studio that does procurement, then you have access to the procurement tab as well, where you can track all of your important dates, whether it's ordering dates, shipping, delivery, installation, or when you've had your deposits paid. So again, just with a click on the button, the calendar pops up. You can utilize the filters to filter it down, say everything that's been approved, and kind of move through your process that way. So it's a live working document. You can work on the same sheet for months or years and kind of re-specify, add in, change, archive things away that might have changed. The clients have changed their minds. You need to re-specify something. So you're never really deleting anything. It's all, again, wrapped up in one nice place. Your approvals here and the history of everything that you've gone through so far. Okay, so that is our schedules. A couple other things to note from here. You can do quoting, so bulk quote requests to any vendors, as well as send out purchase orders right from the schedule. So you would input all of your trades, your vendors or suppliers of product, if you have their contact information, and then you can share that out as well. Now, the last bit I want to go through before we do more of a Q&A is project management. So this is the big one. So basically, we've covered concepting, specification, communication, and then project management is more so keeping your team and yourself on track of the project. So we have a couple different project management features. Time tracking, to-do list, and studio, which is all managed per project and then at a studio level. So you can actually get a bird's eye view of everything that you have going on. What I'm showing you here is just one individual project and everything that I need to do within that project. So you have your overall timeline, start and end date. This is what I mentioned kind of in the beginning of when you're setting up your project. It's really important to have that time frame set out, even if you're not necessarily adding tasks for an entire year all at once. Obviously, that's a little bit daunting and you kind of go phase by phase. It's good to just kind of have a baseline of, okay, this is how long I'm going to spend on each phase of the project, and maybe even associating a certain amount of hours that I'm going to set up per phase. And you can always edit this and change it per project, or set out templates for yourself too, that you can duplicate and reuse for projects in the future. So you get a little snapshot of the project here, accumulated amount of hours. And then within here, if you're familiar with Trello, Asana, Monday, that's what this is essentially could replace. So it's all built in one. You have the board view, which is a Kanban style system, and we refer to these as task cards. So you have your tasks and the overall descriptor of that task, a description within it, and then subtasks that you can complete. If you do have other team members that you're working with, you can assign the tasks to specific people. They do get notifications that way. Assign a due date. A key date would be a milestone or a dependency within the timeline that you can flag. And then you can choose the actual phase of the project that you're associating these tasks to, which is why it's important to set up these phases first. We do have templates built within the platform too that you can use if you're not 100% sure kind of where to get started. And then here is a stopwatch. So this is actually to track your time. So if you want to be very, very precise, you can literally run a timer in the background while you're working. That's really good for any billable hours, or just tracking how much time you're really spending on something, even if it's just a budget for the next upcoming project. And lastly, there's a space for attachments. So say I'm working on a material schedule and I want to upload that schedule after the fact for someone else to review, or if it's a floor plan, I want to get someone to review it. You can upload those documents right into these cards too. These easily drag and drop left and right. You can move things around, or you can utilize the list view, which I personally like. I like a to-do list, check things off, but some people are more visual. They prefer this layout. Then lastly, we have our timeline view. So this is kind of like your Gantt chart style. So once you input all those phases, they actually live here. So you can see the entire project along a month, a quarter, the whole year. Just being able to kind of see where you're at, and maybe some things take longer. You can change the phase dates, drag these around. The overall timeline month calendar is at the top. And if I hover over the top, you can see, okay, construction is going to be from February to May. Procurement starts here. This is what's overlapping. And then these diamonds are those key dates that I mentioned that you can easily click into and kind of see what's going on to track everything. So that all filters into our time tracker. Again, you can export a detailed report here so you can see where you're profitable, essentially. where you might have gone over in hours, especially if you do have other team members too. You can track everybody's hours from here per project within a certain time frame, or you can just get an overall view, which also links into our invoicing sort of the platform too, where you can pull in everybody's hours. And the last bit to tie everything together is our studio view. So similar to that specific project management, this is a bird's eye view snapshot of all your projects. Oops. And then you can filter it down, whether it's by person. I typically like to see my own name, what's due this week in my to-do list. Oh, look, nothing due for me. Lucky me. Overdue. So you have your to-do list here, or you can filter it down by person, especially if you're the project manager and you're kind of just trying to keep everybody on track. It's really easy to do right from the studio view, which we love. And lastly is the timeline. Again, to compare, just to see your workload once you have all these great new clients and leads. You can start implementing all your projects in here and see, okay, where do I actually have capacity to take on another project? What's overlapping? What's going to be in construction at the same time across, again, month, quarter, or the whole year? All neat and tidy here. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave it there. And those are our main features. I'm going to do a bit of Q&A too, if anybody has any questions or if there's anything more specific you want to see. I also do one-on-one demo calls too, if you want to have any specific questions that might pertain to your specific studio, or you want to see how Programa could be implemented into your workflow. I'm very happy to kind of discuss with you all the different processes you have currently and see kind of where this would slot in, or give you any suggestions. Always very happy to do that. Alrighty, just looking through some Q&A here. Can clients leave comments on Pinboard schedules beyond? Yes, so you can leave comments on the schedules and all the products. So you would approve or reject and leave feedback there. Just no feedback, direct feedback off of the Pinboards. That would still be done in a communication piece, whether you're in person doing a presentation on the Pinboard, excuse me, or via email. Invoicing, yes. So invoicing, I'll briefly touch on it. We use Stripe for payment processing, and then QuickBooks as an accounting piece. So if you want to integrate your current QuickBooks, you can. And basically Programa is acting as the middleman where you're generating your invoices. So they all live within the invoicing structure here. To a quick sneak peek. This is also getting a huge facelift right now. It's our biggest piece of work, which is really exciting. So I don't want to go too much into it because it is going to be changing, but essentially gives you a way to easily add, just say like a design fee. And then you can integrate your QuickBooks. You can pull your time entries, so it'll pull up all the team members, amount of hours that you've added in, or you can pull from those schedules. So this would be all of your products. If you're doing procurement, you actually need to collect funds for all the products that you're sourcing or purchasing for the client. It'll easily pull out that in for you. So then you're not manually having to issue invoices from an Excel document and then generating the invoices in QuickBooks. It's kind of all interconnected together, which we love, just the idea. On that note, can clients post their own ideas on a board with an invite link? No. So did I already answer that? Essentially everything on the client dashboard is read-only. I mean, technically, if your client's making you a Pinterest board, then you could take their Pinterest board and integrate it into a pin board for them, which I have seen done, where designers will make a pin board within Programa and label it like client ideas. And so then they can pull some of their client ideas in, share that with them. It makes them feel really nice and included. Yes, you can save to PDF. At this stage, in terms of Sonia, assigning subtasks, not just yet, is you would be assigning the overall task card to one person, not subtasks. So in terms of where the program is based, we are an Australian founded company. So our head office is in Melbourne, Australia, but we're an international company. So Programa is used in 80 countries around the world. Our primary market right now is the US. Me personally, I'm in Toronto, Canada, but we have other account managers in Chicago, California, and London, UK. So we're a little bit of everywhere. Currency, in terms of currency, yes. So you can change your currency at project level. And then the pricing is all in USD. I mean, it depends where you are, but North America is in USD. Europe, UK, you'd be paying your subscription fees in your own currency. But you can change everything to be Americanized for sure, just wherever you're located. Alrighty, well, thank you for listening to me. I hope that was helpful in some regard. Of course, if you would love to, I'd love to chat with anybody who wants more information. And I can send out, my email is just lexi@programa.design if anybody wants to shoot me a message. I'll just actually pop that into the chat for you here. I'd be happy to run you through invoicing. Essentially, you send it out via email and then it turns into a PDF version of invoices.
I'm wondering if you have any really good AI tools that are designated towards architecture and architects yet. I'm trying to find the best ones and test them so far for anything from onboarding clients, emailing, and even designing process with either CAD or any of those things. So have you seen anything so far that's come up?
Well, it's funny you say that because I mean, not to make it just about Programa, but we're actually implementing AI into our platform. So we have somebody who's a data expert in AI, and we're just basically trying to make AI specifications. So you would just have to search a product and you wouldn't even have to use that web clipping tool anymore, or it'll like offer you up suggestions of things to specify.
Yeah, ChatGPT right now is my admin assistant, and I'm looking at, I think it's called Centura, maybe Centura AI, with a bunch of different chatbots for business. But I don't know, have you used it yet before, maybe? Or
Centura, I haven't. No? I used Gemini on my Google for just like note taking and things like that, which then I'll usually take notes from things and plug and play them into ChatGPT and make like summary views of all of my design notes and meetings too.
Okay.
I've played around with, there's actually new AI integrations coming into SketchUp. I don't know if you use SketchUp for 3D modeling. Kind of played around with that of just like using AI or integrated rendering tools, which is pretty cool.
Okay. No, 100%. Perfect.
It's interesting. It's a big discussion kind of in the tech world right now of kind of where AI is going to take us. Because I mean, I don't think it'll ever replace our jobs because, you know, you still have to input ideas and concepts all together in order to create imagery, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to find just stuff for architecture in general, designing, help out with CAD stuff. And I always say, like, when you're really being creative, AI is great for optimizing. So if you're doing like certain optimization stuff for apartment buildings or whatnot, or layouts, great for it. But creatively things, it's still, that's why everyone always asks, is it going to replace an architect? Well, the architect will use this, but I don't think it'll replace it.
No, never.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. It almost feels like cheating sometimes when I ask ChatGPT things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Oh, Lydia said they're going to do a webinar of AI. So there you go. Exciting. I'll have to join that one too. Canva. Is anybody interested in Canva? We can definitely go over that. I love Canva. Okay. Let me just show you quickly Canva, how this integrates with Programa. We do have different templates too. So I will make presentations on here. there's ways that you can actually upload PDFs into Canva. And then I don't think I have an example right now, but if you upload a PDF, say you do download a drawing set, and then you want to make your drawing set into a presentation, you can actually upload that PDF into here, and then it will take each page and make it into a separate document. Or you can do proposals, you can do questionnaires, you could do really anything. They have amazing templates. This is just a basic example. But essentially, how you can utilize this is if you want a more robust presentation than the pin boards that I showed you on Programa, you can just copy the live embedded links of Canva. And then you would go into your project. And paste the links. And that essentially takes that Canva document and inputs it into Programa. So then you can share it onto your client dashboard as well. So it's all in one spot. But it's just a nice tool to use for layering, background removing, changing colors. You can change the transparency of things. I could do a whole presentation on Canva. I'm a big fan.
Very cool. So thank you very much, Lexi. I'll put those of you who are interested on the email list for the AI webinar. So this is it. I hope you learned a lot. Let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out, to leave comments on social media, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this video. Thank you so much. And if you're an architect or interior designer looking to steal our best marketing hacks, make sure to follow our YouTube channel.